I'm here today in the nursery at Milton Park to meet Caroline Wright, who's Head of Early Years at Kidsunlimited. So Caroline, can you explain what services Kidsunlimited offer?
Yeah, I mean basically what we have here in Milton Park is a full daycare nursery. So we offer daycare for children and families in the area from 8 o'clock in the morning until 6 o'clock in the evening. And that daycare can be as flexible as parents need it to be to fit in with their individual needs. But on a broader scale, we also offer workplace day nurseries for a number of large blue chip companies such as HSBC, Toyota, and also for National Health Service Trusts. So we've got quite a range of different sort of models, if you like, of the daycare that we offer.
Okay, and a workplace day, that means people who are just in this location for one particular day where they can take their kids to the nursery. Is that how that works?
That's when an organisation decides that they have enough parents in their organisation that need daycare. So they usually commission that service out to people such as ourselves to provide that for them on their behalf. So we work very closely with that individual company then to tailor the service according to the needs of their families. For instance, we have some which is provided for the university, Oxford University, and we work very closely with them to make sure that that daycare meets their needs. We also have a really thriving childcare voucher system whereby we employers we provide the voucher system for them to enable their employees to get reduced childcare costs. So that's very good service for parents as well. They really value that.
Yeah, and I'm sure there are companies here on the park that do have that.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
So you're a UK-wide company. I'm sure you have many locations. So how many do you have?
We've got 64 nurseries at the moment, and we're just about to open 65, which is in Wandsworth. In London, but we cover the whole of the UK, from Scotland right down to Littlehampton. So we've got nurseries just about all over the country, right down the middle, and quite a big lump in the south, and in London, of course, which is a growing area for us.
Yeah, and how long have you been here at Milton Park for?
We've been here since 2000, May 2000, and as an organisation we've been in operation for 30 years this year. It's our anniversary year this year, so we're very proud of that, and we've got lots of exciting things going on for children and families to celebrate our 30 years.
Yeah. And so for parents, what are the advantages of having a nursery here in a business park like this, would you say?
Well, I think if you're a parent that works here on the park, it's absolutely perfect. You feel quite close to where your children are geographically, so if there's any emergencies or if you've got any concerns, if you just want to pop in, if you're that new mum who's left her baby for the first time, to be able to come in and make sure that everything's all right. So that's really reassuring for parents. It's also very convenient, of course, that they can drop their children off and collect at all sorts of hours for them. And then, of course, we're in really close proximity to the A34, so we do have some people who use that as a commuter route to other places within the area, so it's very convenient for them as well.
Yeah, and this is a fairly busy nursery here, but I'm sure there are a few places available. How do you go about recruiting or speaking to parents, to attract more children?
I think it's like most good businesses. Word of mouth is our biggest way of attracting people. We're always very pleased when we get people recommending their friends, and we do have a recommend a friend deal that goes along, and that's great that we know where those people have come from then. But we also do, we have a really effective sales and marketing team which are based in our central office in Wilmslow, and they support the individual nursery managers, and in particular here at Milton Park, to actually get the message out about all the great things that they do in that particular nursery, and some of the unique selling points of the individual nursery. So they tailor their sales support to the nursery and to the individual needs. And then most importantly, what they do then is they support the families throughout that whole process, so that we make sure that we get a good fit, so that our parents are really happy with what they get and that they know what they're going to get up front. And the sales team will support them right through that whole journey.
And if I'm a prospective parent, what questions should I be asking of you of what the nursery, each nursery has to offer, particularly?
I think the most important thing that I'd want to know if I was a parent would be, how are you going to support my child? How is it going to be special for my child? Because it's a great, huge thing for that mum to leave her child for the first time. And so I think, you know, all of that stuff about individual needs, it is really important. I'd want to know as well as a parent that I could come in at any time that suited me, with, you know, to make sure that I'm comfortable with what's happening. And I'd want to be talking as well about how I get information backwards and forwards, so that I can share with the nursery all of the great things that I know my child can do, and then I'm getting some information back. So I think that communication is absolutely key, and that settling the child in from day one is really important.
And Caroline, what would a typical day be for a child here?
I think the most important thing about daycare, working with young children, is there is no typical day. Every day is different with young children. Every time they come into that door, they're full of enthusiasm and excitement, and they've got all sorts of stuff going on in their head. But the main thing that we do is we make sure that we provide them with the wherewithal that they can explore for themselves, and that they can develop their independence. And then we have key points in the day, obviously, to make sure that they're fed and watered and have a good sleep. And we try to make those kind of what we would call those transition points, where we get everybody together for a meal, really good, friendly, family type sessions, so that they eat together and develop some of those social skills. But they come in fairly early, most of them, and they come in and they have their snack or their breakfast, and then they play and they engage with their key person. They take part in activities that are tailor-made for those individual children, and they have a lunch, go outside to play. Our children very much free flow around the area that's appropriate for their age of development, so they become independent throughout their time here.
Great. I know you have a strong background in this area, but how are your nurseries regulated?
We are regulated by Ofsted, which is the Office for Standards in Education. We're inspected every 4 years, and we have a rating here in this nursery of outstanding, and that's the highest rating that we can get, so we're very proud of that. And we received that in 2010. So our next inspection is going to be in about 2014. In the meantime, we are subject to regular visits by the local authority advisory team, who come in and offer our practitioners support and challenge. And we're very fortunate here in Kidsunlimited that we invest very heavily in quality improvement ourselves. It's not enough for us to be good enough. We want to be the best, and we want to continue to strive to be even better than we are. So we have a quality improvement team of our own, the early years team, and they're highly qualified specialist team who have lots of experience. Some of them are ex-inspectors themselves or ex-local authority, and they come in on a regular basis and support the staff here, giving them inspiration and taking them forward, so that we're always doing the best we can for our children.
And Caroline, finally, for your business as a whole, what would you say are the main challenges for 2013?
Well, I think like any business at the moment, you know, with these difficult economic times, that's a key challenge for us, particularly in daycare, because many parents are finding it more difficult to make ends meet and to pay for childcare, and it's a big decision to come back to work. So, you know, that occupancy challenge is always a big one for us. But, you know, that's why word of mouth is so important, because if we can keep our quality right, parents will come, they'll buy good quality childcare. And so, you know, we're very fortunate that we work hard at our business, we invest heavily in quality improvements, and that keeps us as the provider of choice. So we are very lucky about that. But the other thing is the external influences, and at the moment the early years arena, we have big challenges in terms of new regulations that are coming into place, government proposals to change qualifications and ratios. So we need to manage that effectively and look forward to what that might look like for us and to prepare ourselves for it, and to continue to invest in the quality so that we can be ready for those changes when they come along.
Great, fantastic. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you.